Coming up on today's Code Bet Daily, we are covering a whole range of gear. I'm talking all things NBA playoffs, even having a quick look at the AFL stats guy. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at an informed Russian in the tennis and a bit of NRL with a future try scorer.
Nice one. That sounds pretty good. We've got player props, game picks, best bets. It's what we do every day because it's Code Bet Daily. You better check it out right now. Welcome to Code Bet Daily. It is Wednesday, hump day, May 3rd. May the 3rd be with you, stats guy. This is episode 101 of Code Bet Daily. Thank God, because episode 100 was an absolute horror show.
I've had some good feedback. Good feedback on it.
I think the party poppers were incredible. I think Gerald did an amazing job in post-production with the fireworks, the Club Bruges.
Made us look good.
Going on. Once again, he made us look way better than we actually are because that entire show, I was scattered. I'm popping off poppers left, right, and centre. And it was just a bit of a mess. But
Have you got your hearing back from a few poppers in your ear?
Yeah, I think I've learned a very valuable lesson there as well. Don't pop off poppers like less than 30 centimeters away from your brain. That was brutal. Anyway, I am your host, Jaymz Clements. I'm the editor of CodeBet. That's a very good website. You can find it at codebet.com.au. Of course you can. Why wouldn't you? Absolutely. I'm joined by the stats guy, Liam McAllion. What's going on, stats guy?
Absolutely. I'm here. A bit tired after watching a very tired-looking Chelsea team this morning, but that's okay.
Nice one. We don't have Alex Holodonnelly with us because he's on Holodonnelly's. And this is Code, I don't know, Hoops Daily, basically. I'm just going to talk a bunch of NBA.
Why not?
It's going to be fun. What do we do here on Code Bet Daily? It is, if you listened to yesterday's show and you heard the song, it's Code Bet.
Yeah. I can't believe that got a run.
Daily Code Bet. That's what it is. It's Code Bet Daily. It's codes, it's betting, it's daily.
Every day.
We've got player props, game picks, best bets. I do actually have to lean into that song a little bit more. I think we can actually come up with a proper jingle and it's going to be fantastic. But today, all I'm going to do is NBA playoffs and a quick look at the game, the AFL game on Friday night before our AFL show tomorrow, which will also feature our man Leo, which will be fun talking fantasy bets.
Awesome.
But the NBA, there's only one game tomorrow, so I'll lean a little bit onto the AFL as well. Stats guy, what about you?
Yeah, some tennis. I had some success last night in the Madrid Open and then some NRL, so a game pick and a future.
Nice. That sounds pretty good.
Why not?
I like it. Let's get into it. Some player props. Easy one for me. I've got two in this game two of your beloved Boston Celtics.
Yes, I just want to stay clear of this one after game one.
After yesterday's just absolute schmozzle, yes. I can see why. So bounce back. Well, it's not really a bit of a bounce back spot, I think, tomorrow for Al Horford, but I think they get a little bit more out of him.
Yep. And
I did mention Al's points, rebounds, assists yesterday. I believe the over-under was 20.5. He came in at 20. Can you believe that?
Oh, really?
I think he goes over it this time, though. I think a couple more rebounds here and there because the weirdest thing about that game yesterday in Sixers Celtics, there was, I think, 38 rebounds for the Celtics and only 28 for the Sixers.
Wow.
That's incredible. That is such a low number.
And they still won, yeah.
For a game that went 119, 115, it's like, oh, well, I guess if you don't miss that many shots,
true.
There's not going to be that many rebounds.
There's a lot more misses than that, though. That's weird, yeah.
And Philly barely got to the line too. So it's like one of those things where it's a bit strange, but I think there'll be some more Al Horford. Look, if they don't have Joel Embiid, the Sixers, for game two, I think Al Horford gets some more rebounds. Off we go because I think what they're going to learn is they don't have to play Time Lord, Robert Williams, that much. They might actually lean on Grant Williams a little bit more as a small ball five. I expect a little bit more out of Horford then. So I like his over the 20.5 points, rebounds, assists. And if you get it a little bit lower, you'd be absolutely laughing because that's kind of the weird thing. We are more than still, a day out basically from this game. So some of the player performance bets, it's only the very sort of forward marks. So you can't actually sort of delve right into like the points, rebounds, over-unders beyond sort of basically just those normal ones. Like usually you've got like 87 different markets. At the moment, it's just the sort of simple, will it be 20 plus? Will it be 25 plus? Will it be 30 plus? Will it be 60 plus? I don't know if Tatum's $9.25 for 60 plus points, rebounds, assists is a good one, but considering that he and Brown combined for I think they got outscored by James Harden 14-10 down the stretch in that game. So
Horrible, yeah.
not ideal. But that's, speaking of which, the other player prop for this game that I was going to lean on, James Harden. So 45 points in game one, stats guy. I don't think you can do that again. The strippers are too good in Boston.
He'll have a good night last night,
Wings are
maybe.
too good. He's going to go out. He's going to party hardy, and James Harden's going to come back and just go, oh, yeah,
that'd be a classic move from him.
He's smelling like stripper glitter, lemon pepper chicken wings. It's going to be all over. Pack her up, boys. The over-under for his actual just points total is where I'm probably going to land because I think his over-under is just 24.5. And when you look at James Harden this year, it's just been like, obviously with Embiid, he's had to be the facilitator.
Yeah.
We all know that. And he only averaged I think 21 points this season, which is pretty crazy for a dude who's led the league in scoring. But even if you go back to that Brooklyn series, he only had 23, 8, 21, and 17. And in terms of the times that he's actually gone over 25, it's basically 3 times in the last month and a half. So I think, and this is probably, I'm going to lean into this when we get to the game picks here, stats guy. Yep. I'm worried about your Boston Celtics defense.
I know. We were really good during the season. Just gone out the window since the start of the playoffs, hasn't it? Yeah.
The entire thing we were banging on about in that Atlanta series is, they've got very good defensive guys. They've got Derek White, they've got Marcus Smart, and they've got Malcolm Brogdon. And then Trae Young just went, I don't really care.
just letting them walk past at the moment, yeah.
If it wasn't Trae Young, it was DeJounte Murray. And the amount of times you just saw someone saunter into the paint and just have a nice little layup, it's just horrifying. So I'm a little bit trepidatious about it, but I feel like there's got to be a bounce back spot because as we're going to be seeing in the Knicks Heat game today, you don't want to be down 2-0 after your 2 home games. So
True.
Celtics need to fix this, and they need to fix it quick smart. I think the way to do that is to go, right, let's make Harden more of a facilitator again. If Tyrese Maxey's going to take a bunch of shots, that's fine. So I think the under for Harden hits. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get Embiid back for game 2 and try to steal first 2 in Boston. And if that happens, which I suspect it will, I don't think Harden goes over that 25 points. Simple as that for me. Stats guy, what about you for your player props?
Go back to the Madrid Open. I didn't think I'd be talking about this Russian 2 days in a row, but Aslan Karatsev actually beat Daniil Medvedev last night, which I predicted. He's 120th ranked in the world, and he beat Medvedev, who's 3rd ranked. Medvedev, as I was saying, doesn't like clay. Karatsev just loves clay, and he's going really well on it. So I'm going to have another look at him today. Obviously, not that $4 odds that he was this morning, but he's the favorite in this one now in the quarterfinal, with Karatsev taking on Zhizhen Zhang in the quarterfinal in Madrid here. Both ranked outside the top 100, with all the top seeds seem to be dropping in the men's side, which is a bit rare. But Karatsev is a lot more experienced. You got Zhang, who's moving up the ranks a bit younger, and he's actually never made it this far in an ATP tournament. So this is his first quarterfinal, whereas Karatsev has made a few finals and things like that. He hasn't had as much success in the finals, but he has had a bit more experience than Zhang. Karatsev, did smash Medvedev this morning, 7-6, 6-4, and is now 9-3 on clay just this year from the start of 2023, which is really good. Looks extremely confident at the moment. I think he might move back up the rankings. I didn't actually know much about him, but just this tournament he's absolutely dominated. So I don't mind him. Just that experience to win in straight sets. 2 love at $2.30. He's the favorite in this one after being the big underdog against Medvedev. So he's moved into. Big swing, but $2.30 for straight sets on Ladbrokes. Don't mind it.
Again, you called it yesterday. $3.75 to beat Medvedev.
Yeah.
Medvedev
hates clay. Yeah.
Loves a sook.
Everyone in tennis, I swear, betting just looks at the rankings, goes, well, he should this, he should that, and then you go through it all. He doesn't like clay as a sook. Probably, I haven't seen the highlights yet, but he definitely would have had a sook, thrown his racket, and cost him another match on clay.
Oh man, you hate to see it. So Karatsev at $2.30 for the straight sets.
Straight sets, why not?
Stuff. Like it. I like it a lot. All right, game picks. I'm going to throw my AFL one here for Carlton Brisbane as well as Philly Boston.
Awesome.
Philly Boston game 2. I'm going the under.
Ooh.
You might go, but Jim, they just had 117, 115. I'd say, wow.
I don't think it can happen again. Yeah.
I don't think that happens. I think this is the thing. If you limit Harden and Maxey, even if Embiid comes back, I think we see this Philly team. The 5 straight Celtics games have gone over now, but that's against an Atlanta team that Boston were like, we can beat them. It'll be fine. Philly came out, punched him in the mouth. I think we see a much better defensive, setup, a better defensive plan.
Yeah.
not just letting dudes in the
It
paint.
looked like both teams were just like, all right, we're going to concentrate on offense because that's what we're going to do. But then the game two, they have to, otherwise, Boston will get smashed if they don't concentrate.
And that's the thing. So 3 of the last 4 between these two teams have actually gone under. So
right.
it was 3 games before the one that was yesterday. So
yep.
The other thing is that Philly, 3 of their 4 as well have gone under. And if you remember that Brooklyn series that they played, so they sweep Brooklyn, but this is a Brooklyn team where you're like, this should be a free-flowing, high-scoring. So, nope.
It wasn't at all, yeah.
It was an absolute grind, and it was all that Philly defense. So I think in game 2, you might see both defenses really sort of crank it up, and I think the under hits because we actually do have a bit of, as I said, 3 of the last 4 between these two has actually gone that under. And it does sort of, this one's going to scream at me for like the one at the end of April was like 101, 103, but there was a game in February. So the game where Jaylen Brown got his face broken, it was 106.99, and that feels very much like a prototypical sort of Sixers game, which is what they've played a lot this season. Because if you actually look at the totals for both the teams, the over at home for Boston has hit a fair amount, and away, like Philly have been all right, but at home, like Philly are much more sort of defensively, situated. They know what to do better. They feel a bit more comfortable.
Maybe, yeah.
I just think at home, this is the one where both defenses, for both the Celtics and the Sixers, really sort of crank it up and they limit the scoring. And like the only reason really that game goes over yesterday was because Boston went, that's fine. We're going to get them. And then they didn't get them. And they lost the game.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot more focus. They'll try to absolutely key in on stopping James Harden from scoring 45 again because that was just... It was brutal, especially if you're a Celtics fan, stats guy.
Yeah, so, not wrong.
The under 216 is really easy for me. I love that. That's $1.97 with Top Sport at the moment. I like it a lot. And Carlton Brisbane.
Ooh,
this is a really, really, really big game for both teams. It's at Marvel. It's Friday night. It's going to be a weird sort of vibe because every time Carlton play at Marvel, it just feels strange. So the over-under... You can get the over at 170.5 with Top Sport. That's $1.87 at the moment.
Nice.
And I actually really like that because, look, Carlton in terms of like kicking a score this year have not been very good. They juiced their numbers last week with a big, big, big score against West Coast. But Brisbane is smashing it. You could probably say the same about Brisbane actually smashing Freo. But Brisbane are averaging 101.3 points a game. Carlton are at 86.1 at the moment. Marvel, you've got just the ideal situation. I feel like this is one of those sorts of games where, look, Carlton, 150 last game. They did have the 107-84 game against North, though, and I think this is what that sort of
could be similar,
yeah. And then you think about like what happened to the Lions in that Western Bulldogs game is the one thing that gives me pause.
Yeah,
but I just think Carlton has like the defense similar to the Dogs, especially in the midfield, to really limit the Brisbane, and I'll talk about this at length. Can you tell I'm writing the preview right now?
Right. Yeah, it sounds good. I'll have to give it a read.
So it feels very much like that midfield struggle, but both teams are very front runnery from their midfields, and I think the point total is definitely going to go the over. So while you can, I'd be all over that with 170.5 with Top Sport $1.87 because I think 4 straight for Brisbane have gone over. And 3 of Carlton's last 4 have gone over as well. So, boom.
You got some of the best goal kickers in the league going head to head.
Exactly. Between Charlie Curnow, Charlie Cameron.
All Charlies,
Joe Danner, Harry McFive. Here we go, Harry McFive. I bet that's going to pop up on the AFL show tomorrow. Don't worry. But it should be, plenty of fireworks and just in those ideal conditions. We've sort of seen those sorts of games pretty handily at Marvel, I think, this year.
Absolutely.
Unless it's involving St Kilda, I think a lot of those are going over. So,
agreed.
As I mentioned, though, that Brisbane Western Bulldogs one was a bit of a slog.
That was, a bit different.
Western Bulldogs are a very different team to Carlton. So there you go. A couple of overs for you. Well,
nice.
1 under, 1 over. Stats guy, what about your game picks?
Yeah, talking about over, I'm going to go to the NRL. The Cronulla Sharks are taking on the Dolphins over the weekend. I'm just looking at 2 of the best, 2 of the top 4 offenses in the competition. So you got Cronulla, who have the best offense in the league at 30 points per game. Then you got Dolphins, who although in 9th, that ladder's still really close, are 4th best for offense in the league. Both teams have 2 players in the top 6 for tries this season. So you got Kennedy and Mulitalo for Sharks, both with 9 tries this season. Then you got Tibuao Fidao for the Dolphins with 9 and 8. And sorry, I messed that one up. Asako has 9 this season, and Tabrao Fidel has 8 this season. So you've got a lot of try scorers, just they're attacking teams. Wayne Bennett has got this Dolphins team, no matter what, even if they're down, they just come back with attack. So that over 45.5 just seems very doable. If you look at the averages, it's going to easily clear that. Sharks have the best overs record in the league at 6-1 so far this year, and then the Dolphins are the second best at 7-2. So most of the games this season they've played have gone over 45.5 total points. I thought it was going to be a little bit higher, like that 50 mark, just because they like to all-out attack both these teams. So $1.90 for that, just probably the best bet of the NRL over the weekend for me.
That's great. That's a great over 45.5. Yeah,
like it is a bit higher than some other games, but with two of the best attacks, I just think it's going to go over.
The only tricky part is going to be how good that Sharks defense is, right? And you're like, ooh, hang on a second. Can the Dolphins actually put up enough of a score?
Dolphins they've lost a few games by 1 or 2 points or 5 points because of that ability to get at least 20 points a game. So that's why I reckon it will go over.
Also, this will be up in Queensland as well. So it has that moment where it's like, at least it's not
more even. So, yeah.
Nice. Good stuff. Right. Best bets for today, tomorrow. Philly, Boston.
Ooh.
I hate to tell you this one, stats guy, but I'm taking +10. It is
you have to.
It's just too big of a line. Like I think what we've seen from
I can't believe it's that high.
All playoffs is just like this team is not putting away other teams at all, and
even since the second half of the season, sort of.
It's been pretty bad. So in terms of the line record, that's kind of it, right? Like the Sixers, the 5th best team against the line on the road, and the Celtics have now slipped down to 7th at home against the spread, which I reckon for most of this season, they were probably in the top 3, but now it's sort of just dipping down. And that's kind of the good thing about CodeBet. We actually keep track of the line all the way through the season and into the playoffs. So you can go, well, the regular season here was It's like, well, that's the regular season. What about if it was combined? It's like, wow, we've got that.
Yeah, cool.
So, jerk it out. So the road team is also covered in the last 4 between both these teams. So it just feels like that line is a bit too fat for me right now. So I will take Philly +10. You can get that at $1.91 at Bet365. And it's just one of those things where you look at it and go, yeah, I can see Boston blowing out a team. But I just don't know if it's going to be Philly. And Boston, all those games, even in that Hawks series, it was still 8 points.
Yeah.
They won game 6 by 8. They won game 6 by 8. And they just let them hang around. And if there's anything that sort of Philly can do, it's just get random cheap points out of nowhere, keep it close. But as I said, I think it is that sort of 101, 108 sort of game tomorrow where Boston just sort of eke out a pretty ugly win, but they get the win nonetheless.
Hope so.
Philly cover. What about you, stats guy?
Yeah, what am I back to? The NRL, so an NRL future. Just looking at the top try scorer, you can check the full article out with 8 different try scorers on cobet.com.au. Just looking at future for Ronaldo Mulitalo. So he's 3rd in the tries so far this season. I just talked about him for the Sharks. With one of the best scoring team in the league. He's got 9 tries in 8 games so far this season. It's a major reason they found their mojo winning their last 3. They started off really poorly, got a few of their players back, and he's just been dominant the last 3 or 4 weeks. And like I said before, they're averaging 30 points per game. When you're averaging that many points, you're going to get your wingers so many chances, especially when you've got Nico Hines and William Kennedy who are breaking tackles for the Sharks. They just gun players that draw defenders towards him, give it out to the winger of Mulitalo, and he's just eating up tries at the moment. He's an average of 1.1 at the moment, and this person with the most tries in the league has had that average around that average and has won in 4 of the last 5 seasons. So I think it was last year was 1.1, the other year was 1.3. So if it continues that, he'll be in that first or second mark. So that's why I really like him at $8 to take that top try scorer, because they're only going to get better. I think the Sharks, they start off horribly, and each week they've been building. So the more points they score, Mulitalo, the more tries he'll get. He'll have a couple more games where he gets double. He might even get a hat trick, I reckon, against some of the bad teams. So $8, really good odds. I think he's the second favorite at the moment.
Yeah, it checks out Micah Sivo and Campbell Graham, right?
Campbell Graham's leading at the moment, but South Sydney just been really inconsistent for me. So I don't mind the Sharks offense a bit stronger. Yeah,
it's kind of trying to figure out it feels like there's more upside because of that Cronulla offense. There's there's so many opportunities for them to score.
Yeah.
And whereas I think South Sydney, their offense has obviously kicked into gear pretty hardcore over the last month or so. but they also sort of tend to spread around just a little bit more. Campbell Graham had like a hat trick last week.
He did have a hat trick, yeah. So it'll be a close race between
numbers, right? So
between like 3 or 4 of them. I think it'll be really close. But if Sharks can keep going the way they are, I think it's got to be Mulitalo for me.
I like it. There's also, between the Broncos, the Dolphins, it's been a fun, weird year for try scorers.
It has, yeah. Some high scoring teams.
Parramatta sort of stinking it up here and there, and like the Cowboys dropping off dramatically.
Yeah.
Weird, kind of weird.
Crazy.
You can actually check out that NRL big piece at codebet.com.au that Stats Guy got around. We'll have a Coleman piece going up as well.
Absolutely.
We're diving deep into like the goal kickers and all that sort of gear. Alex has written that one up.
Awesome.
And you can check that out, codebet.com.au. And that's it for today. Done.
Very nice.
How good is that?
Swift does. A bit less chaos than yesterday.
A little bit less chaos, a little bit more on point. Just out. But that is it. Co-Bet Daily done for today. We'll be back on deck tomorrow, Stats Guy, and I will also have an AFL show. There will be an EPL show, which I think might be up very, very soon.
It's already up, yeah.
Between Stats Guy and Alex talking all things EPL. We'll have AFL and NRL tomorrow as well as Co-Bet Daily. I believe we'll have Phil in-house to talk NRL, which would be pretty good.
Lovely.
We'll have Leo on the AFL show with all your fantasy gear too, which is always fun. I love a good AFL fantasy bet. Oh, let's see if he gets 110 points. That'll be fun. I like it. Sink your teeth in the dough. So subscribe on your podcast app, like, review, and rest across all your podcast, app needy kind of things, whatever you can do.
Yeah.
Comments, I don't care. Just do something. Check us a follow across the socials: YouTube, Facey, IG, Twitter, TikTok, even Twitch. That's right, Twitch.
We'll be on the live stream for that. Yeah,
we'll set Stats Guy with an OnlyFans as well. He's subscribed to that.
That was supposed to be a secret.
Thanks, Stats Guy.
Thank you.
Thanks to Geraldinho, as always, for producing. He does a great job. Yesterday was an absolute delight. What he did, he took a lump of coal and turned it into a wine. He did.
It
was incredible. The Club Bruges thing was probably my favourite. So, anyway, there you go. That's a good one. That was a fun one. What do we say, Stats Guy?
Gamble responsibly.
All right, may all your picks come in. Happy punting. We will catch you tomorrow. Code Bet Daily, out.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.